All right, Algebra 2, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Mrs. Gonzalez today. We'll be rotating throughout the year between Mrs. Gonzalez, Mrs. Campbell, and Mr. Burkett on the videos, so you get my game show-like voice today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. This is section 1-3. We're talking about critical points. So I typed in the definitions, and I know that a lot of us don't have the layout paper available or the notes sheet available. So just, write the word critical points and write the definition with it, then write minimum and write the definition with it. Label the type of the page 1-3. Just ways of organizing it. Put it in a spiral, put it in a binder, so you don't lose it, because this is all brilliant information. Trust me. All right, so critical points, certain points on a graph that gives information, and that's going to be not just a focus throughout this unit, but throughout this whole year. I really like this unit because it kind of gives you a preview of what we're going to be doing all year long with various types of functions. Minimum is the lowest point, and a lot of times we say it's at the bottom of the U, and it is this point here. That is the bottom of the U. My drawings are horrible, absolutely horrendous. I'm never going to be an art teacher. I admire those who can. Then kind of the reverse, the top of the mountain, or the maximum, the max, looks like that. That's the top. Now, our graphs are going to have more than one minimum, more than one maximum, minima or maxima, plural and stuff. And then we also have zeros. Now, zeros are where the graph crosses the x-axis. It's also called x-intercepts and answers for x. So like all of these spaces or dots where this graph crosses that x-axis, those are all zeros. So x equals -5, -2, 3, 7. Those are all answers for x when we're solving that stuff. I am technology challenged, so I have no idea why, but my text box won't let me move or leave that stuff, so I gotta delete it. So rewind, pause if you need to write it again, but I'm gonna delete those definitions because they're annoying and I can't figure out why. It's my goal of the semester is to figure out that technology. We also have x-intercepts along with y-intercepts. So y-intercepts are where it crosses the y-axis. I also have horrible handwriting. Just talking about the positives, I guess, about me. So this 0, 1 is the y-intercept because that's where it crosses the y-axis. So this -1, 0 that's here, that is the x-intercept. So we're going to kind of talk about some of the things in this unique graph, and we're going to label some parts. Remember, the bottom of the mountains, or where it makes a U, those are minimums, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the lowest point, but just where the graph changes directions, where it goes from down to up. Same thing, the top of the mountains are the top where the graph goes up and then down. Those are our maxes. And there can be multiple of them. So if I was labeling in a chart my minimum coordinates, let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, so -3, -2. And this one would be 2, 0. Those are the coordinates of my minimum. If I was labeling the maximum ones, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left, up 1, so -5, 1. I have 0, 3, and then I have 4, 1. Those are all the coordinates, because again I went right 4, up 1. So we're going to be taking that information and also applying what we did last unit when Mr. Burkett made the video of domain and range, because again we're going to be using that all year long. So you could try to sketch this picture again. Sorry you don't have this layout here, but then write what information we need to find. It is okay if a graph does not have a maximum or does not have a minimum or has multiple of them, has more than one. So this one, there is no top of the U, and apologize. There's supposed to be arrows. They didn't copy off or didn't scan off. And rewind a little bit. What graph makes the U like this? Remember that first day matching activity? That is a quadratic. We're working with that type of graph a lot this year. So back to my maxes and minimums. This one does not have a max, so it's okay to put none. Don't put zero. Zero can be considered an answer, which we'll see later on, and I don't want that to be a confusion. If there is no max, put none. So now we have the minimums, and I labeled them. I know they're going to be decimals, and it's okay because decimals have a point. But this dot right here is our minimum. So we would use that label that's there, negative 1.5, negative 6.25. Oops. We'll go back to domain and range here in a little bit. Let's talk about the zeros. Where it crosses the x-axis. So we would have, you can either write it as x equals negative 4 and 1, or negative 4, 0, 1, 0. Both answers acceptable, both are correct. And then the y-intercept we'll put in blue, right there, 0, negative 4. All right, so let's go back and talk about that domain and range. Any quadratic graph, whether it's going up or down, the domain is negative infinity, infinity. And anytime you use an infinity, we use those parentheses. Now with the range, it's a little different. We're going to use these numbers here, but we're only going to use the y value because we're dealing with range. So it's at negative 6.25, and then my arrows are pointed up. So that's going to use a positive infinity. Oops. And the lower value is a negative 6.25. Whoops, I did that wrong. Hopefully you caught me on that. Let's undo, because that's a number. We should have a bracket with that and a parentheses with the infinity. All right, let's go on to the next one. Example 2. What type of example looks like a W or a flipped over W? Actually, we didn't talk about that one. It's quartic. I apologize. We did not talk about that one in our labeling of stuff. Now, I did put the arrows. The arrows are pointed down. Keep that in mind for my domain and range. But this one, I have a few maxes and I have a few mins. Actually, no, correct that. I only have 2 maxes right here. There's one. There's one. Negative 0.707.5. And then I write the next one, 0.707.5. Minimums, again, it's just this one, because that's where it changes directions. Notice these continue going through. That's a different thing right there. So that's going to be 0, 0. Again, this one's okay because that's an actual dot. That's an actual location, 0, 0. It's not none. My answer to the coordinates are 0, 0. We have 3 zeros on this one. 1, 2, and 3. So x equals, I'm just going to write x equals so you can kind of see it better, negative 1, which is that number. Wait, I don't know why, oh, just go with that. Then 0, they counted by 2, or halves, sorry guys, and then this is 1. Or you can write it negative 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. And the y-intercept, do you guys see where it crosses the y-axis? That is 0, 0. All right, since both arrows are pointed down, kind of similar to the quadratic, the quartic graph is also negative infinity, infinity, and again parentheses. But now we got to use the y value, and we're lucky because the y value is the same here for the top of the graph. It's pointed down, so that's going to be a negative infinity. So this is the weird one, whoops, where the negative infinity goes first because it's the smallest number, and the 0.5 goes next. And remember, the infinities always have the parentheses, and then we have the bracket. All right, so this weird looking graph kind of looks like a fun roller coaster. This is the cubic graph. Wanting to see that we're utilizing a lot of the last units to build off of our other information. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I almost pulled it out. You know, I'm not really, it's kind of hard to see the coordinates of stuff. So we're just going to kind of round, no decimals. So we'll label it here. We'll say that's -3, 3. And we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, -5. So pause, and I want you guys to try to go through and label all of those terms in there for the min-max, domain range, all of that. Pause, and good luck. All right, thanks for trying. Let's see how we did. So the -3, 3, that's the top, that's a max. The 1, -5 is the bottom. Zeros, we have 1, 2, 3 of them. So -4, -1, and 3. My y-intercept is way down there. That's -3 or 0, -3. And what's nice about cubic graphs, see how we have an arrow to the left and an arrow to the right? That means it's -infinity, infinity. And we also have a range of a down arrow and an up arrow, -infinity, infinity. And they both should be parentheses. I just got a little lazy. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure you guys, it's parentheses. So remember, just write the problems down in on your paper, and then take a picture of it, not a screenshot, but a picture of it. Make sure you can see it. Send it in, and let's see how we do. Thanks, guys, and I hope you have a great day. Second video coming soon.